Hey, what's going on, guys? Started my drive to Colorado at 5:30 this morning. It's going to be about a 28-hour drive. I've got 15 hours left. I'm approaching St. Louis right now, and super excited. Can't wait to get there. Hoping I can get there by tomorrow afternoon, set up camp, maybe drive around a little bit in Glass, and see if I can find a good spot for the morning. All right, day 2. I just crossed into Colorado from Kansas. Still have about 7.5 hours until I get to my spot, but super excited. Yesterday was a really long day. I drove about 19 hours from Virginia all the way to somewhere in Kansas, Salina, Kansas. I got a hotel room at like midnight. I left the house at 5:30, so crazy first day. Today's going to be a little bit easier. I'm going to stop at Walmart, just get some ice, get some last minute items, and head into the wilderness area. So what do you do when you drive 28 hours to Colorado to go elk hunting and you're bored the entire trip? Practice your elk calling. That was terrible. Alright guys, I made it. Set up camp. My first choice spot that I e-scouted on Onyx. When I got there, there was probably a dozen trucks right at the trailhead. Half of them had horses, so I pulled out, found a different little spot. So I set up here tonight. I'm probably just gonna glass tonight and see if I can pick anything up in the meadows, and make a game plan for tomorrow. All right, it's day 2. I'm surprised by how many. Well, I shouldn't be surprised. It's public land, Colorado, but there are a ton of people here. I must have seen 5 or 6 trucks, maybe 7 or 8 4-wheelers. It's a little discouraging, but I hiked about 3 miles to kind of try and get away from everybody. My plan for tonight is to hike all the way up to the top there. There's a saddle, and it's kind of open up top, so I'm gonna see what that looks like. And then I set up my tent. I went down to the bottom. There's a creek down there, or there's supposed to be a creek, but it was dry, to try and get some water. So I think I'm only gonna do this afternoon hunt and probably the morning. But when I was down there, there's a really heavy trail with fresh tracks. So my plan is to hunt that in the morning, and hopefully something walks by. Right now, I'm just having some snacks. A little Stinger waffle with some Justin's peanut butter and some honey. I've got maybe 250 milliliters left, and then I've got 1 liter that I have to conserve for tomorrow. But it's been pretty awesome. Really, really tough. I'm at about 11,000 feet, 10 to 11,000 feet. So hiking with the 60-pound pack was not that easy. I think I did 3 miles in about 2 hours, 2.5 hours, so not too bad. But yeah, I'm just gonna try and do a little bit of glassing here, see if I can pick up anything, and then probably within an hour or so I'm gonna hike my way up, find a nice spot, do some calling, see if I can get anything to respond. Found a nice little bed on this little point here. These Colorado mountains, man. My big fat ass. cattle fence. Runs the entire ridge. So I basically just followed that cattle line. And there's a ton of elk sign here. A lot of droppings. It's not very open, but I'm hoping that they still use this as like a travel corridor. Maybe jump over the cattle line. So I'm just gonna sit here tonight for a couple hours. Hopefully something walks by. Well, the hunt wasn't a total bust. I got a little treasure, a little shed I found. I set up this dry creek bottom. There's a major game trail highway right alongside the dry creek bed. I got in here about an hour and a half before sunlight. So I think they bed up there. There's a lot of standing dead, looks like beetle kill, and a lot of new growth. And then this is a creek bed in here, but it's pretty dry. It's not running. These are pretty fresh. Alright, I'll talk to you guys later.
Hey guys, I figured I would do a reflection on the Colorado elk hunt on my long drive back to Virginia. You know, I feel like I accomplished a lot that I really wanted to do while I was out there. Even though I was unsuccessful, I didn't really see much elk. I heard them in the middle of the night bugling. I got woken up a couple times, which was pretty awesome. I got to experience being out there by myself in the backcountry, and just feel what it was like to hunt out west. I feel like I accomplished that. Definitely feel like I could have done more. I could have been more prepared. I feel like I still need to lose probably like 60 pounds to really be in decent shape. So that I feel like you can never simulate what it's like to hike at 11,000 feet, 10,000. I was between 10,000 and 12,000 feet most the entire time I was there, mostly around 11,000 feet. And I hiked probably close to 12 miles was there, and it beat me up, man. And my pack was 65 pounds. You know, I feel like looking at everything I brought, I basically used. I was afraid that I had too many clothes. I probably did not need an extra pair of underwear and an extra shirt. But honestly, like, that didn't weigh that much, right? Because I just wore the same, I mean, kind of gross, but I wore the same pair of underwear, my hunting pants. I had my merino t-shirt, and then I had, you know, the 2 sweatshirts, and then the puffy. So at night, you know, it got down below 30 degrees because my water froze. So it got pretty chilly. The first night, I had to basically put all of my layers on, and I was still waking up, mostly to go pee because I was drinking so much water, just trying to get adjusted to the altitude. So I got up in the middle of the night, you know, 2 or 3 times, and that first night was amazing. I woke up in the middle of the night to go pee, and just looking up at the sky, it was the most beautiful night sky I had ever seen. The Milky Way was so bright. I tried taking pictures. I couldn't get a picture to capture what I saw, but it was amazing. I felt like I was. It was perfect. I don't even know how to describe it. If you've ever seen like a picture of like the Milky Way galaxy, you know, the fuzzy, the dust, I felt like I could see everything. Like the night sky was so crisp and so clear. It was incredible. I'll remember that experience for as long as I live. But I accomplished a bunch of things that I really wanted to. You know, I conquered some of my fears. I was afraid of, you know, going out there by myself in the middle of nowhere. So I got over that fear, and just I got to use the gear. You know, I was afraid of you know, running out of battery for a lot of stuff. I brought that solar panel charger thing, which was awesome. That was really cool to use during, you know, the middle of the day when the sun's out. So I got to use that, and I got to. I think I brought too much stuff but because it was my first trip out there, I think it was good. You know, I had the big spotting scope, which weighed a lot. I probably could have just gotten away with my binos and maybe a tripod. I probably didn't even need the tripod, but I wanted to glass and just get used to glassing and see what that's all about, since I've never done that on the East Coast. So that was really cool. I got to experience that. And then just hiking out there. I found a shed antler from an elk, which was nice. Little piece I'm bringing back. Wasn't successful, but I had the mentality of, I'm going out there for the experience. I'm going out there to see what this is all about. And if I make contact with an elk, you know, great. But you know, it didn't happen. I saw a lot of wildlife. I had an antelope one morning, you know, come over this hill and basically come right into my camp, and I got that on video. That was really neat. So saw a lot of antelope. I saw a bunch of mule deer. Saw some elk in the distance while I was driving. Couldn't get them on video. But yeah, it was really awesome. Another thing that I realized while I was out there is your mind just starts playing tricks on you. You know, like, I just kept thinking about bad things that could happen. You know, the area that I went into was a wilderness area, so there was, when I turned off of like the main highway, I basically had about 30 or 40 miles of backcountry, like dirt trails with some gnarly, like jagged rocks and things like that. And, you know, driving in, my tire pressure was around 35 PSI, but when I got to Colorado and I started climbing in elevation, when I got to where I was going, they were over 40 PSI. So I was afraid that, you know, I was going to pop my tire on some of these jagged rocks. So I had to deflate the tires. And then the entire time after that, you know, I'm thinking, I'm going to pop a tire going over these rocks. So your mind just starts like thinking about bad, negative things. You know, you have to like conquer that, which was interesting. And then, you know, every time I would hike away from the truck, I would be nervous and scared when I came back if the truck would start, like, you know, maybe I didn't close the door and the battery died, or maybe I had, you know, something plugged in that was going to drain the battery and I was going to be stuck out there. So like those are the kind of things, you know, that play tricks on your mind, and you have to overcome like the negative thoughts. And then in the middle of the night, you know, thinking like a bear is gonna come into your tent, and like those type of things. You know, it was great to overcome those fears and some of those negative thoughts. And one other thing, I feel like, you know, I got to experience being out there by myself, but I think I would have stayed longer and I would have had more fun if I had a buddy with me, or maybe if it was a group of us hunting together. So I think the next time I go out west, I'm gonna definitely, you know, either bring my dad or come with a couple buddies, just to have like a better experience overall. I got to do it by myself. I got to see what it was like, but I think I would have enjoyed it a little bit more if it was a couple friends. Yeah, that's about it. The other thing that I've learned is I don't mind the drive. It's not bad. You know, 28, 29 hours wasn't bad at all. And on the way home, it was actually shorter. I stopped in Denver, and I got to catch up with a buddy of mine, my buddy Brett. So he's probably gonna see this. So it was great catching up with him, and you know, the drive back was actually only like 24 hours. So I've got 9 hours left. So yeah, appreciate you guys sticking around. If you stuck around this long for the video, give a like, subscribe, and put some comments down. Let me know what you guys think. Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.